All right, welcome to our presentation here as part of our CSD Summit Series. I'm Dean, and this is Colette.
Hi.
And our presentation is on tools in our formative toolbox. So we decided to showcase 6 tools that we use and we think are pretty good, and kind of give you a little overview of them. And after, if you have any questions, you can fire some questions, and we'll try to help you out with it and do the best we can. So we'll start with formative, and we'll also end with this. This is actually called Go Formative, and when you're inside of these, you make formatives. So I have a little formative open here to show you some of the things you can do. You can add text boxes, you can add images in, you can add short answer questions inside of it, and then you can answer the questions on a whiteboard. You can add multiple choice questions and add the answers, or you can just see what the data is that you get at the end. You can put videos in, just copy and paste YouTube videos into formatives. You can do multiple selections, so you can do some polling with your students using this. You can even have an essay question, which is like the short answer, but you can be a little bit longer. Like you can have up to 250 words if you wanted to. There's a show your work, so if there's a math question, they can answer in. And I'll come back to this later, and I'll show you one of the forms I use in my class that give you guys a little bit of an idea how it looks. You can ask true or false questions. You can even do audio responses. Now, a couple of things like audio response, you have to buy the premium version. So there's a couple of things in the premium that you don't have in the free. But most of the things in the free is really all you'll need. But I think this one is one of the ones that you'd have to pay the premium for. You can also categorize and put things in order. And so which one goes in a formative assessment, which one would go in a summative assessment. You can add graphs. You can resequence things from what's the oldest to the newest. One of the things that really got me hooked on using Go Formative to start with is that you're able to upload a PDF, a doc, or an image, and then you're able to go ahead and annotate to it. So for example, I had this diagnostic assessment quiz, and then I didn't have to retype this inside of here. I could take the Word document and I could put it up, and then I could turn it into a multiple choice question. So like for this example here, number 11, the answer is A. So and I'll show you under the hood a little bit more in a bit, but this was the thing that is like saved me a ton of work. I can make a quick little diagnostic test, little formative test in less than 5 minutes, and I mostly use this in a math classroom, but you can use it in any discipline. But I'll show you a math example later on in the presentation. So that's kind of Go Formative. I'll show a little bit more in a bit. But I'm going to pass it over to my teammate, my partner in crime here, Colette. Colette, you wanted to show them a little bit about Kahoot?
Sure can. Kahoot is a simple and fun activity that provides teachers with a general knowledge of what children are capable of or what they understand in recently taught material. It is quick, formative evaluation that can guide the instructor's next course of action. So your first job would be to create a Kahoot account. And then once you've done that, if you go to Discover, so here's Home, okay, find me a Kahoot. So you can literally find hundreds of Kahoots. So if I choose integers, which is what I'm currently studying in math, here are just tons of integer questions. So you would then choose one of these to be, you can go through the questions and see what you think. Is this kind of what you're looking for? Okay, yep, I like this one. I'm going to favorite it. And then it's going to fall under my Kahoot, so I won't have to go searching for that one again. And there's just a few things in here my kids aren't familiar with. I'm going to edit this Kahoot. So I can go to duplicate first, and then it's going to follow that duplicate to my Kahoot page, and which then I will go to edit, and I'm able to make changes to other people's, here they are, Kahoots, the Kahoots that were already pre-done for me. Once I'm done that, I can just finish it and go back. I have a number of my own favorites here. Obviously, there's one on bullying. Lots of different options here. So we did the edit. A critical analysis of this program, I would say it's great, it's fun. The kids really like doing it. The music is a little bit funky. And as always, there are things that are pluses and minuses. One of the pluses of this game is everyone is playing at the same time. So if you require a dictator, you can actually read the question out to the kids and then they can answer on their own device. Everybody's dealing with the same question at the same time. This is also a negative in that some students are then waiting for other students to complete. So there is downtime for some kids, and they can kind of copy off of each other, not giving you an accurate read on what they can do, because everybody will press the blue square or the yellow triangle or whatever. These are the little things that you get as squares to pick from. So after each question is completed, a bar chart comes up and gives you an analysis of who got what right, although you don't know how many children got each question. So that it's not identifying who didn't get it right, but just what the percentages were. The kids like to look at that too, especially when it's a math Kahoot. And Kahoot has recently added an option to combine your Kahoot, so you can see that right here. This increases the length of your quizzes and decreases the amount of time it takes to open and close the activities, because sometimes, setting it up and waiting, and then it'll go through. It'll just add the quizzes together. In conclusion, I think it's a great formative assessment. I use it a lot for math, mainly. You can see from my favorites, they're mostly math. Yeah,
awesome.
That's what I got on Kahoot.
Yeah, I think there's also a feature in there now because kids could put their own usernames in. Oh. I think they have a thing where you will assign a nickname to the kid, instead of letting them put it in. But I usually used to use freeze on my data projector and saw the names in, because you can knock them off if some kid doesn't have good digital citizenship.
Well, and the kids know it does. You can block the. You can't see these. I have to download it. It's great getting to see the results, but we have one that I like better than this. That gives me a little bit better results. So
I'm looking forward to learning about that one too.
Thanks.
Oh, perfect.
You're up.
All right. So the one I'm going to show now, it's called Edpuzzle. And what I like about Edpuzzle is you can use this in, if you wanted to flip your classroom, those type of things. But, sometimes, in a video, you really want to know whether the kids listened or they caught on to it. Well, Edpuzzle would provide that solution, because what Edpuzzle will do is allow you to take, a YouTube video or something that's from the Khan Academy or a TED Talk, and what you're able to do with this is to basically put stoppers in, and you can ask a series of questions. So I'll show you under the hood on this. The only thing about Edpuzzle that's kind of a little bit frustrating is that you get about 10 or so free, and then after that you'd have to kind of get together and buy a license if you want more. So it's great, and maybe if we had enough people jump on board, maybe our division could get one, because I think once you see what you can do with this, you'll be able to go in there. So one YouTube video I found, and I just used this in my class, was on archaeology. So you can kind of see here what we were able to do, and it's just a YouTube video, and all of these are little stoppers that you can do. So an example, when I click on edit, what I can do here is I can crop the video. So if the video was something like, say, 20 minutes long, but you only wanted a 5-minute clip on that, you'd be able to take this and move it and just crop the 5 minutes that you want by dragging the bar here to how long or short you want it. You can also add voiceovers. So say, for example, there's a really good video, but you want it in French. You can actually click on voiceover, and you can do your entire video with a French overlay on it, and it would mute whatever language is behind it and that. So that's kind of cool. There's also audio notes, so you can make a stopper stop, and you could say, yeah, this is really key. So you can kind of interject. It's like you paused the video and you went in there and you told the kids, hey, this is something that you really need to know in order to complete the lab, or this is something you really know in order to understand what we're talking about. So they hear your voice in there, and it just stops the video, and you go in there. So that's how it's different from voiceover. And then the quizzes is something that I'll use a lot, and that's what I do. Like each one of these, what I was able to do is like at this point in the video, they just explained what artifacts were. So I put a stopper in there and said, what are artifacts? And then they have to type it in. Now what you can do here is you can lock it so they can't go forward until they enter in an answer for that. And then you get the feedback on the other end too. You'll be able to see what each kid put in and do that. So it's not just, there's different ways to do this. You can put in open-ended questions. You can put in true and false questions, all that type of a thing. So there's different ways you can get data from this. And then at the end, again, I put even on here, I use this as part of a digital breakout. They had to watch the entire video to get a password and able to open up a file that they needed to do a big dig activity that we did using Minecraft, which was kind of cool. So the data is really cool that you get on this. It's just a really good tool if you like to use video. And again, we're just trying to give you a little bit of a taste of what things would look like. But you can download the grades, you can delete the assignment. There's lots of good things you can do in it. You can grab a grade book out of it and see who's done what too, and you can see some of the names and when it was due. You can organize it in classes. You can see that students have engaged in this video and that type of thing. So yeah, Edpuzzle is great. Like I said, a little bit of a drawback is that you only get so many Edpuzzles you can make before they ask you to pay for the space. But I totally recommend you checking out Edpuzzle. It definitely works a lot in my classroom.
I can share mine with you.
You got an Edpuzzle?
Yeah.
Awesome. Can you want to search? I wonder if that would work.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Well, I mean, I could hand it maybe we could make an account and we could share them. That would be something to look into, hey?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, awesome.
Because in this too, when you look here at the content, you can get it from home curriculum. You can create one for your school.
Yeah.
But maybe we created one for our division and we could put things together. But
and those could be in our lessons we have to make.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. People could contribute and have a whole repository of videos that have been edited. And then, once you make a video, it's the same like Kahoot. I could take your video and, I like some of the stoppers you put on, but I want to ask a different question or I want to remove that. You can go in and
edit
make
your
changes
piece
too. Yeah. So that's a brief look at Edpuzzle.
Okay, I think we're going to move to QuizEase. Okay, so I have a small preference for this one. So this is another type of formative assessment tool. Again, quick, easy, and fun way to see what your students know. You can develop a QuizEase account. You always need an account for everything. And then you can make a class. So here I've made a class, and these are my students all lined up on here. And then we have their parents on here. So they've invited their parents, 21 to date, have added on. And so their parents are able to see some of what's going on in classroom. So, of course, I would not use this as any type of a grade book or a summative assessment because this is the kids learning and me trying to figure out what they can do. So I had to send the email home and say, do not have a stroke, parents, when your child only gets 16 out of 25 or something, because, some parents are kind of like that. But what's really cool is the parents can see, okay, now you're not doing as well on this. Maybe we should get you some help here. You need to practice it a little bit more instead of waiting until the grade book is open for primary grades. So you've made your account, you've got your class, you can find a quiz. So again, hundreds. Will you type in integers there for me? If we're looking for integers again, just for fun. Integers. There's an extra R. Oops. No, it found it. There we go. Here we go. Maybe it was me not adding the right R before. No, it's all good. So again, like the other Kahoot, you can find, I want to check out this one. What does it look like? It's got 10 questions. I want to edit it. I can edit. And then I can save it as my own. I have a number of my own QuizEase. The thing about this one that I really like is I can scramble the questions, and the kids do it on their own time. So unlike the last one where everybody was working at the same time, this allows your students to work on a quiz as they need to. That's a bit of a adaptive dimension, so they're not feeling stressed for time, and for the fact that they are working on something and it's not the same answer as everybody else because it's a different question. So you get a more of a reading on what they're able to complete on their own. This site also allows you to assign practice assignments. So when I go to my class, was it up there? Go back here, find a quiz. Where's my quizzes here? I'll just pick one of these. I'm going to pick this one, and then I can, I was editing that one. Let's not pick that one. Here's my integer ones. And
cool. You can put them all
in different files, right. So here you can have a live game, so you can play it individually, in teams, which I don't do often, but sometimes it's fun, a homework assignment or practice. So then I can copy this to practice. I want to share the practice link, and I send it off in my Remind account, which the kids all have. So now they've got a little extra something to try at home. Again, the kids like it, and the parents see the results of how, if they're doing extra math practice. I also can do this as a whole class. Everybody's going to do a formative assessment together, or I can use this as a station during my math centers. So that's another reason I like this one. It's recently added a couple of cool things that you can add voiceovers. So when you're editing, I think it's in the edit. Duplicated for editing. There's a place where you can add a voiceover. So for those kids, it's not here. I had it all because I have one little guy who has trouble. But in the math, it's not as important. But if you are doing a language one and they need the questions read to them, the voiceover, you can talk it, which you think, that's a little bonus. It's a bonus for the kids, a little extra work for the teacher. But if you have 2 or 3 kids who need that, if you just have the one, you'd sit with that child and do it, right? But if you, you could work it as a group again with kids working on different ones. So the reports on this one are kind of neat too, because it gives you on a live today 50 whatever % accuracy, how it shows the different what each child was able to achieve, how much time they took. I can send that to parents. It just gives you a bit of a overall of how things are going. There's a new thing with all these different charts, and it was so cool. I was playing around with it earlier. So the pluses to this one is the teacher can randomize the questions, make it more accurate. The students play in their own time. They can you can option to add a voice. Minuses, I really haven't found a lot yet. I'm sure there are, but this is my go-to. Yes, are you sure you want to exit this game? Exit. It was giving me, the other thing that was another cool thing is as you can see it as a teacher, as a student, I can look at, when I'm setting things up, I can look at it from the kid's perspective, not just the teacher perspective. Right. So I kind of think that's cool. Does this one give me? Yeah, lots of different options on this one. So that was kind of neat.
I also enjoy the memes.
That's actually, I asked the kids, which one do you prefer? When asked, I haven't found any. I would say the majority of my kids like this one better. When asked, it is because of the memes the site includes. And I created my own meme, but I don't know where it is. Yes, because I squirrel often. Can you see it? Here. I squirrel often. Here I am. So tell me, what drives you nuts? Because I constantly squirrel, so I thought that was a good one for our class to start with. So the kid, what's driving you nuts? Probably the teacher squirreling. Yeah. But that was that one. The kids love the memes on that one.
Very cool. Yeah, no, that's I like that one too. Lots of good things. And again, with this, we're just trying to scratch the surface. We could spend a whole thing going into one of these tools, but I'm just going to share one called Wayclick. And actually, I'm going to pop out of this. So for example, what a Wayclick does, I really like it because you can basically collect and curate information. For example, this one here is one I've recently done with my my Social 9. And so we learned about archaeology, and what they had to do is add 5 things inside of the Wayclick. So what's cool is that just brand new, they've integrated Flipgrid inside of Wayclick. So you can actually, and I'm actually in the edit mode right now. So, and I'll go back to these other ones. So now when you hit the plus sign here, you can paste an URL in there. You can add text. You can add YouTube videos. You can add tweets. You can bookmark things. You can add images, PDFs, drives, and you just saw there the Flipgrid video. So it's kind of your one-stop shop to put all the materials into one convenient collection. And so he would have did this inside of Flipgrid, which is embedded inside the Wayclick. And I asked them 4 questions about what they thought about their archaeological dig. These are 2 PDFs. We were using Minecraft, and they were able to take pictures inside of Minecraft of their archaeological dig and put it in here. And they also make inferences with the book and quill. So they added that inside. And then they can go and they can add YouTube videos. So they had to find a YouTube video about archaeology that interests them. And then they had to find a tweet that was about archaeology, so they did that. So it's all one stop. Everything was in here. Actually, the one thing that I was showing earlier here, actually I do the O'Neill newsletter in here, and I collect the tweets from each month and put them inside of here. So it's kind of a electronic newsletter maker too, which is cool. But you could also add PDFs and other things in there and pictures and all that. But what also I like about this is you can collaborate with your students on this. And this is also part of, you can log in with your Microsoft account, which is neat. But because I'm already a contributor in here, usually this is blanked out. Actually, if I go back to my one here, I could pick this. If I wanted, say, Colette to collaborate with me on this, I would just go to the collaborators here. I would type her email address in and hit send, and then she would have it too, and we could work on this together. And she could add tweets, and I could add pictures, and it's really cool that way. So, you can definitely work on collaboration. So what I like about Wayclick is it definitely hits up a lot of the 7 C's of 21st century learning that we're talking about in a one-stop shop with that. So I'd highly recommend checking out Wayclick. There's cool things to do. It even has an immersive reader built in, which is
so nice.
The cool thing that I know Microsoft does with a lot of their products. So once they have this,
a collection of findings and thoughts on archaeology.
Nice.
So yeah, and that's in OneNote, and that's in Flipgrid, and that's in all the Microsoft products with the immersive reader option in it too. And you can go explore, do that. Another thing I would do with Wayclick is do like a current event where they had to find the who, what, where, and why, and they add YouTube videos and text and all that. So it's definitely great for assignments. It's great for formative assessment. You could actually do one of these for integers that you have, and you could find. You can go onto Google and find and make a playlist and put it inside of here with maybe a worksheet and with maybe an opportunity for the kids to, tell you what they're feeling about integers, those type of things. So it definitely is a pretty cool tool.
I love the idea that you can get together with another like grade, like we're doing a number of things, what are you doing at your school, and being able to collaborate with someone else and have the kids collaborate. That's awesome.
Yeah, I can get right into this now, and what I'll probably end up doing is, I could even add my comments on here if I wanted to. I probably won't in this case for what we're doing. But yeah, it's definitely really cool to contribute and do work together on something. So I'd highly recommend taking a look at Wayclick. And with that, we're going to jump over to, this is one I like to learn more about. I know we don't use it as much, but I've heard really good things about this product.
Okay, so I'm actually not going to do a whole bunch on this because I know that there are some up-and-coming ones that will be looked at. So this is Seesaw, and it has many options for both formative and summative assessment. The opportunity for parent engagement makes this a great use for a tool for a portfolio as well. I have noticed that there are a number of future sessions, so I'm not going to take too much time on this, but I do want to show you how it can be used. So it's a common tool used to demonstrate and share learning. Once you've created a Seesaw account, you will add your students to the account, and then Seesaw generates an invitation for all the parents to join so that they can see their kids' work. Parents do not see other students' work unless their child is signed onto their account at home and is showing them what other kids are doing. There are 2 ways for students to post on Seesaw. One is that they get a number that they have to key in, or a
Like a code?
Yeah, what are those, where you take your phone? I can't even think of it, like
QR code?
a QR code. There we go. Or the other one is just via their email, and that's why my kids log on and hold their accounts via the email. Currently, I have 2 accounts going. You can see you can have a class if I only teach social. My social kids could be here, and it would just be you can have a few accounts like that. You can see currently I have 5 posts that are waiting to seek approval. So anything that is posted on Seesaw has to be approved, like reviewed and approved by the teacher. I guess it's down to 3. I guess I thought I saw 5.
Yeah,
So if I, were to look at someone's work, here we're doing the global read aloud. We've talked about summaries. I've worked on summaries. We've got a bump it up wall on summaries. How can you expand what you're doing? The kids had a choice of 4 options to tell us what they know about the first 7 chapters of this novel. And Addie here did a summary. So she talked about it. I was able, Addie, you have included everything, blah, blah, blah. And I gave her a little indication. She has a rubric that she's received an M for all of the things that she's gotten. Now, this is formative, but this lets her parents know she's working on the right track. Things are getting done here. The other kids can comment, and so can Addie's parents comment on this. So later on, I might have a child. This one did. Here's one. Addie actually commented on Tristan's. So here is a child commenting to another child. I really like that you have a lot of detail and you describe everything. So here, not only is Tristan receiving feedback from me, he's receiving feedback from Addie. And he loves that there's people commenting on his stuff. So I know that Tristan is going to go back in and try to improve on whatever she thinks, even more so than that he's meeting my goals here. There's parents who love to comment on their work. Summatively, when I give an assessment in class, let's see if maybe I'll go on to Addie's. She has a few. Here's her math assessment. She's done her math test, chapter 1 test, boring as heck, but this is her Cartesian plane. This is a strength I have, and she was able to show what her weaknesses are and what she was strong in and reflect on that. So even though this is a form of assessment just for herself, okay, I see how I did. And her mom saw it but didn't comment. Lots of times parents will, I've asked them if they notice anything in writing to please comment on their children's post, because sometimes the parent saying, you haven't included any punctuation in this is more effective than me saying it over and over again. So there are just lots of things that Seesaw, you can do. The kids talking to each other, the fact that I can look at, have more than one account and deal with different students. I get little notifications in the inbox of right now. There's nothing here. There's tons and tons of activities. Again, right now I've got one going for a digital footprint that I haven't assigned out to the kids yet. So I preset, reflect on what you want your digital footprint to look like in 10 years. So this is not, I won't be assessing this per se, but there are activities on this, and I'm sure people later down the road will get on that. But for me to be able to give the kids a rubric, have them respond online, have them respond to each other, have their parents look at it in real life time is awesome. And that's just a few of the things. Like Seesaw has a very big basket of things that are in it for you to use.
That's cool.
Yes.
No, I learned a lot from that because I haven't used Seesaw very much, but I've heard really good things. And yeah, you showed me a ton there. Just to wrap up, we're just going to come full circle a little bit here. And I was just going to show you a little bit about Go Formative again, too. This is one that I've made and I used in my high school math class. The cool thing about Formative, too, is that you can add other tools inside of it. So I can add that ed puzzle I talked about. I can add that in there. So it really makes Formative a one-stop shop. So you can put everything in. There's one code, one way to get in, and you can put all your other elements of formative assessment that you want in. So here I put an ed puzzle in, another one I put in. Here you can put you can hang out and you can put in like apps and stuff, so they can actually have manipulatives and that type of thing. So you can put in, you can put in different code and stuff too, and it's not that hard. Again, this is what the key thing I really enjoy about it is, to get that feedback. And this feedback dictates my teaching. As the kids go, they get instant responses, and so do I. So when I'm going through this, and you can put a text as you see on the bottom here, but when I'm done and I've assigned it, and you set up your classes and you give it to them, what I like this is you can review, so you can see all the totals, And you can hide names too, so I can put this up in front of the students, and then I can say, oh, look good, right on, you guys have all this green. Maybe I don't have to, go over this that much. But this student here, I would go to them and say, whoa, what happened here? This is like a good indication, informative assessment to go.
It's a red flag.
Exactly, exactly. Red is the color. Actually, green is the color. And this was just the multiple choice. So this student might have struggled. I'll sit down. But I see that a couple of kids got question 4 wrong. So maybe if I saw more red there, I would just key on question 4 and say, okay, what happened here? Let's take a look at maybe it was poorly worded, those type of things, because it's not always that. And then this would be the work to show your work. So I can also bring these up, and then which is really cool. If I went to like this, and we could take a look at some of the work that they did and compare it side by side, and see how they did it. Whether they try to use their mouse to do it in or put that. But it's really cool to see. I actually use mini whiteboards, and I've had students take pictures of mini whiteboards and include that inside of their work too. So they had a picture of that. But then you can talk about, well, why did you finish this? What happens to your units? What do they do to their units? And it's really neat when you can hide their names and then use their work to dictate how what you're going to teach, and highlight good mistakes and celebrate mistakes in an important fashion. Then kids aren't so scared to make them because you honored that. So that's a nice, cool thing that Go Formative can do too. And what's nice about Go Formative as well is you can organize all your formatives into different folders as well. They have a library you can check out. One thing I haven't used much is a tracker, but I think you can check out and see if you've met outcomes and tie that in. There's so many good things about Go Formative that I would highly recommend to check out. It's definitely one of my go-to tools for sure. Yeah. With that,
that's all our formative assessment.
I think so. So hopefully you formatively assess us well on this presentation.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks. Hope you enjoyed, and be sure to reach out to either one of us if you have some more questions. We could have did a whole spiel on just one tool by itself, but we hope this little smorgasbord of tools helps your toolbox out. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the summit.